Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Money Means Business. As usual, we do have a lot of segments and a lot of economic news, a lot of events which took place in the past 7 days. But we are going to focus on efforts exerted by Egypt in cooperation with many international economic institutions to boost economic relations and to make sure that the share of those international, let's say, banks, economic entities, particularly in the mega projects here in Egypt, is going to be a win-win situation and is going to be for the best interest of both and particularly with the Egyptian people. With knowing well that we are implementing on the ground the goals of the agenda of Egypt, the Sustainable Development Goal, Egypt 2030, and nothing is going to hinder Egypt from reaching this point, and knowing well that we do not have the luxury of losing time. How and why? These are something that we things rather to be discovered into our episode. I do have a very special guest and we are going to start immediately right after the short break. We have a lot to speak about, so stay tuned only on Nile TV International, always for more.
The Egyptian economy continues to shine as one of the most dynamic economies in the Middle East and North Africa region, supported by an ambitious vision for economic reform and bold policies aimed at promoting sustainability and growth. At the heart of this transformation, Odile Renaud Basso, president of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, praised Egypt's position as a leading investment destination during a press conference held yesterday with the Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation. Over the past decade, Egypt has successfully transformed its economy from a state of challenges to a global investment attraction, thanks to the economic reform program that began in 2016. Egypt has achieved macroeconomic stability, improved the business environment and enhanced competitiveness. This program, supported by international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the European Bank, included measures such as the liberalization of the exchange rate, the reduction of energy subsidies and legislative reforms to encourage the private sector. Today, the Egyptian economy is reaping the fruits of these efforts, becoming a model for emerging countries seeking sustainable growth. During the press conference, Odile Renaud Basso described Egypt as the bank's largest country of operations in the southern and eastern Mediterranean region for the 7th consecutive year, noting that the bank's investments in Egypt have reached $14 billion across 200 projects. She emphasized that the bank's forecasts indicate that the Egyptian economy will grow by 4.6% next year, a rate that reflects the economy's resilience and ability to face global challenges, what prompted Renaud Basso to praise this economy. The economic reform program is the cornerstone behind this praise. Since its launch, the program has focused on enhancing macroeconomic stability by reducing the fiscal deficit, improving public budget management and increasing non-tax revenues. Reforms also included improving the investment environment through new laws such as the 2017 investment law, which facilitated company establishment procedures and attracted foreign investment. Renaud Basso praised these efforts, noting that they enhanced the competitiveness of the Egyptian economy and made it attractive to private investment. Renaud Basso confirmed that 98% of the bank's investments in Egypt in 2024, amounting to $1.5 billion, were directed to the private sector. This focus reflects alignment with the Egyptian government strategy to enhance the role of the private sector as a key driver of growth. Through the state ownership policy document, Egypt seeks to reduce the state's role in the economy and increase private sector participation in sectors such as industry, energy, and infrastructure. This policy, coupled with the bank's support for small and medium-sized enterprises, has strengthened the investment climate and created new job opportunities. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development support for the Novi Renewable Energy Program, which aims to produce 6 gigawatts of clean energy, aligns with Egypt's strategy for transitioning to a green economy, as the country seeks to increase the share of renewable energy to 42% by the year 2030. Investing in green infrastructure reflects Egypt's commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, enhancing its attractiveness to international institutions. Despite global challenges such as inflation and supply chain disruptions, the Egyptian economy has demonstrated remarkable resilience. Rino Bassou praised this resilience, noting that structural reforms have enabled Egypt to improve its foreign exchange reserves, boost exports, and reduce dependence on imports. The government's IPO program has also contributed to attracting new investments, boosting confidence in financial markets.
Welcome back, and before we start, let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Professor Dr. Nevine Nakhla, Professor of Strategic Management. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Nevine, and of course it's an honor to have you on Nile TV International screen and in our program in Money Means Business.
Thank you so much. I am the one who's very honored to be here with you in the only English voice of Egypt to the world.
I like the way you described us. We are the only English voice speaking about everything which is taking place in Egypt, and this is exactly what we want to deliver, the message from Egypt to the world. Dr. Nevine, Professor of Strategic Management, and here when it comes to success in any project, in anything to be accurate, the secret is management.
Of course.
And this is, I think, exactly what the state is trying to do. With perfect management of all our projects, or of all our economic activities, this is the way to achieve sustainable development. And if you permit me, we are going to implement that on the ground. And we are going to start with the tour which took place today, or the inspection tour, if I may call it this way, because it was really one of the field visits of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli to a number of projects in Port Said. Well, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, in fact, he is keen to visit many industrial zones and to make sure that he is in face-to-face meetings with the CEOs of many corporations and companies to eliminate all obstacles on the way on the ground. How do you see this as part of our good management?
First of all, we are very proud as Egyptians of this visit today, because the economic zone, the Suez Canal and the Port Said economic zone, is one of the strategic places in Egypt, beside the port, of course, and it's a logistic hub, it's an industrial hub. I always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
So in our country, really under the vision of our beloved President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and all the ministries and all the ministers, you see that there is a big strategic planning and a big vision for the 2030 vision of Egypt. So the visit today was very important. His visit and tour to see the different factories, the different locations, and to talk directly with the people and to see if there are any challenges, anything that they need to enhance or make better economic zone for direct foreign investments and for Egyptians to go and invest. I also know that even the prices of factories to open there and to take the big places over there is very subsidized and very compatible and competitive.
Yep.
So everything is there for our investment, for our manufacturing, and for our economy.
For new startups, for new entrepreneurs, for the private sector, whether coming from inside or outside Egypt, for the foreigners, for the Arabs. But here, if you permit me, I'd like to focus on a statement which was said by His Excellency the Prime Minister, supporting the state's efforts to transform the zone into a global hub. And would you please underline the word global hub for trade, industry, and logistics services. And here, I mean, all terms are equal in importance, whether it's trade, it's industry, and logistics. But if you want to prioritize, would you prioritize, or you are going to take them on equal foot?
Very much on equal foot, because if you trade but you don't manufacture, or you don't have the right logistics, it's a triangle that it has to be very equal and equally important, changing a lot of localization and making a lot of investment in manufacturing and in added value manufacturing. This is very important. And also being in Port Said and beside the port, the biggest logistic hub over there, is very important for storage, for handling, for all logistic services. Also the free zone, also a lot in Port Said.
Free zone and the industrial zones in this golden triangle. I mean, it's for our best interest to find China and Russia only, for example, as competing which country is going to have the biggest or a bigger industrial zone. To add to what you have just said, Dr. Nevine, in a press conference, Madbouli reaffirmed that the Suez Canal Economic Zone has 14 industrial developers, while a contract of Abu Dhabi Port will be the 15th deal there. Satisfied with the number, Dr. Nevine? Or it's only, let's say, a small step in a long road?
I'm sure that a lot of more companies will enter. But as a start, to focus the services and to focus the efficiency of the project, it's good to be, not a very large amount of companies at the beginning. It's good to service each and every company. So it's a good start, and I'm sure there is a vision and there is a plan, a very tight plan on the other numbers that are coming in as phase 2. But as phase 1, it is very good, and a lot of construction is going over there also. A lot of real
potentials, promising opportunities, and the exports from the Suez Canal Economic Zone reached $2.4 billion, with more inaugurations across ports and logistic ports are to come. You know, Dr. Nevine, I'd like here to focus on the way we are playing the game, because satisfying the needs of our local market is very important, but also to think about exports and to have this as one of the sustainable development goals is really of an equal, let's say, not only importance, necessity.
Of course. I'm happy that you opened the subject of the SMEs. And let me say, not only the SMEs that are having support from the Egyptian government, but the MSMEs, the micro, small, medium enterprises.
Sure.
A lot is taking place in the ecosystem for SMEs to help them have export readiness. Actually, there is a summit day after tomorrow, and I'm speaking on one of the panels in the SMEs, the readiness to export. And we see that Egypt is really taking very serious steps towards this. For example, the Central Bank of Egypt is supporting now a lot of SMEs, especially in the manufacturing, in many industries. Whatever the industry is, they are supporting them if they are manufacturing, if they have a serious feasibility study. They help them with the new loan of 5% interest rate. And under the patronage of the AFCFTA initiative, which is the African Free Continental Trade Initiative for Women and Youth, we have 315 companies already.
Thank you for correcting the way you pronounce it, because I called it AFTA.
Some people call it AFCFTA.
Yeah.
So a lot of names, but what Africa, the continent
because I wanted to focus on that, because we are the gate to Africa.
Of course.
And returning to Africa was one also of the most important strategic goals of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi since he assumed office. I remember, I think his first visit as a president was to Chad and Algeria, something like this.
Of course.
And to make sure that this is going on the ground, I think this is to continue what we have started. I mean, it's accumulative. We do not we do not invent the wheel. If you want to elaborate on that.
First thing that His Excellency, our beloved President, is the most president visited different African countries, and the relationship with our continent, we belong there, we are part of the African continent. I want also to congratulate our lovely country that this year, a few weeks ago, we have shared the AFCFTA for 2025. So Egypt is the share of the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, and that's why even our central bank is supporting this initiative very much. They allowed MSMEs that they don't have still official businesses or commercial registration, or licenses or tax cards. They opened a financial inclusion account for them, free of charge, no minimum payment, with only their ID. This is a step to help MSMEs that are in the industry or manufacturing of different products to go from the unofficial economy to the official economy.
Financial inclusion law.
Exactly.
And this is it. And simply, if we didn't have the legalization to have the financial inclusion law, we will not be able to do that. And if we do not think out of the box to make sure that we do have the golden license to have the financial inclusion law implemented on the ground and to open an account only with your ID, this is really great. And what you have said is really great, Dr. Nevine. But here, I should also continue to ask, is it our mistake or our fault as media that we do not propagate for that?
Yes, I think so.
Let me know how, because we are depending on social media, for example, that it's only on the website of our cabinet, or it's the Facebook pages of such institutions, or what? I mean, how all what you have just said can reach people? I'm trying my best. Whenever I come on air, I talk about this initiative because it's a life-saving. A lot of people, I had one of the ladies under the initiative, she's been in business for 16 years, and she broke my heart when she said she had to sell her car to stay alive in the business and to continue the business. So this kind of initiatives, she's enrolled in the loan of 5% to scale up. She's in the business of lighting with brass and copper products. Her products are perfect. So she just needed more money for the raw materials, for the workers, to scale up. So this was, she had a good, of course she was registered.
and
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
And of course, she's. I mean, this is to help SMEs scale up. What we're trying to do now, we are digitizing their catalogs in a month and a half. We will have an AFCFTA digital catalog for these MSMEs. I hope the 315 companies will be 30,000 companies.
Sure.
And dividing them into different industries like the textile, the home appliances, the handicrafts, the heritage,
leather products,
accessories,
products,
everything,
you name it.
everything, you name it.
And simply, we do have a lot of people or of youth who are very creative and they enjoy a lot. And simply, Dr. Nevine, since you mentioned the Central Bank of Egypt or our banking system in general, I think it's more important to know that the services that they are introducing, it's not only about funds.
No,
it's about financing and the non-financial services,
of course,
because to follow up with those people who want to really shine and get out of the very normal traditional way of having projects or even have a job to something which is broader. I think this is more important than even fund.
Yes, and we had a master class last Tuesday. This master class was under the Zambia AFCFTA Zambia for summit. And in the master class, I gave them how to search where is their export potential map, how to find the e-tariff book on the AFCFTA, the African Union AFCFTA e-tariff book, because there is something very important that a lot of countries in our continent now, we have completely free trade in many products. So, some are going to be zero tariff by 2030. Because some countries, they had 5 years plan, which ended January 2025, and some others will have some products extended to 10 years, so it will be zero in 2030. To connect Europe to Africa, to Egypt, one of the embassies next weekend, they are doing the 50 years of cooperation between this country and Egypt, and it's the Ireland embassy, and thanks to them, they gave the initiative of the AFCFTA Women and Youth Initiative for MSMEs. They gave them more than half the bazaar they are doing for them to put their products. So I
want to go.
Yeah, you have to come.
Okay.
It's next Saturday.
Okay, great.
It will be in Zamalek, where the I don't know how to say it in English. The horse club, the horse.
Equestrian?
Yes.
Okay. The equestrian. Great. This is really great, and this is one of the examples of the fruitful cooperation between Egypt and the European continent in general, and reflected on Africa. This is it. Simply, we can live together on this planet.
And if you want to connect also with Port Said, so many companies, international companies, because of the agreements, the trade agreements that Egypt is successfully doing with different regions, like the AFCFTA, we are this agreement of free trade with 54 countries, 1.4 billion human beings. So a lot of big international organizations and factories, they want to come and make their hub in Egypt, because if under the rule of origin, the products are made in Egypt with a different rule of origin differs from one industry to another, with the percentage of accepting rule of origin, you will enter whole Africa free of taxes, free of customs.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is all these agreements that we have and the trade-free agreement.
It's a circle.
Exactly.
To localize industry and to have 65 or now I think we are going to reach 70% of the local materials used in manufacturing to be Egyptians, and to have incentives for the manufacturers. When they are doing so, they are going to receive more incentives.
Exactly.
And this is going to be a circle, and without this, and to have to eliminate all obstacles on the way, to make it a full circle, it's going to be a win-win situation for all. And to make sure that we are on the right track, for example, I'm going just to give you a very short piece of news. Today, there was an important meeting between His Excellency our Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati with the President of the National Council for Women, Councillor Amal Amar, to make sure that there is full coordination and there is an agenda or strategic agenda implemented on the ground to make sure that women empowerment is not only a word, it's not a slogan, it's something which is taking place on the ground. And to represent Egypt in international arenas with backing of our diplomacy, this is huge. Dr. Nevine, since we mentioned Europe, and we mentioned also that Egypt is the gate of Europe to Africa, here there was a very important also meeting which took place just a few days ago, as Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli met with Audley Renaud-Bassot, President of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the EBRD, at the government headquarters in our new administrative capital here in Egypt. And Madbouli praised the strategic partnership between both sides, and emphasized that since Egypt officially became a country of operation, and this is very important, for the EBRD back in 2021, the bank has helped channel investment worth around $14 billion across 194 projects in both the public and private sector. Again, how do you see the numbers?
The numbers are great, and I want to tell you that this $14 billion, 80% from them, or 84% from them, are for private sector. So this is the good news.
Yeah.
You are really enhancing the private sector work, and a lot of this is also investment in new energy, clean energy, green hydrogen, and a lot of also I respect very much the Nuwafi platform for food and water and energy. So this is not by this is not by fault or by default. This is by strategic planning and strategic
Partnership. Yeah.
And it's not ad hoc. It is planned for. Every step is very much planned for, and supporting the ecosystem of investment, supporting privatization and private companies to really invest and stand tall.
And to invade new markets and new fields.
Exactly.
The Prime Minister also highlighted that Egypt has ranked as the EBRD top country of operation in the southern and eastern Mediterranean region for 7th consecutive year as of 2024.
Yes, and the president of the EBRD, this is her 4th visit, very successful visit, and planning for the future. Also, they spoke about that during 2024 alone, there was around 1.4 billion. 96% of them was for private companies, for private sector. This cooperation shows, first of all, our very strong bilateral relations with Europe, and showed very well that also there is a plan for Egypt Vision 2030 and the strategic vision of Egypt development and infrastructure
And economic reform.
Exactly.
Yeah, and taking also into consideration that we do have priorities and we are going into many directions at the very same time. I mean, all the time the president is saying that we do not have the luxury of losing more time or missing something on our way, because okay, great that we do have a number of mega projects, and whether it's in agriculture, it's in industry, it's renovating our a network of roads, infrastructure, you name it. But still, the SMEs or the micro, even macro projects are of the same importance, and all those investors should know that the state is behind them and is going to continue supporting them by all means. But again, because this is very important, so many people would say that the sum of money or the capital of money is covered. And since you don't know this much about this new field, you are not going to have this risk, because if it's not a calculated risk, then you do not have the luxury of losing your money. What to do? I mean, to follow suit, to go with the flow, as we say, or to have this risk knowing well that you are in a country which is really behind the new investors.
Okay, the stability in Egypt, the political and the economical stability of Egypt, and the growth of our nation and of our country also allowed that, for example, the EBRD, they are putting a lot of investment, a lot of money for companies, especially private companies, that need to do feasibility studies. A lot of support and money to make sure that the feasibility study is very efficient and very professional. And this is a one step, a very important step for the success. Because if a company that wants to enter into this new field with not a very professional feasibility study, will not guarantee where they're putting their legs and where they're stepping in. So I mean, this is also very important, and no support for ad hoc, no support for the support, and the backbone is for serious companies, even if they are MSMEs. Even when we were talking about the loan of 5% interest rate from the central bank for MSMEs, it's not to everyone. It is to the companies that have very serious
and to those who prove resilient.
Exactly.
Those who wanna work and work hard and achieve something.
Exactly.
By the end of her visit to Egypt, the president of the EBRD, Renaud Basso, expressed her satisfaction with the outcomes of the visit, describing it as inspiring and promising. And this is exactly what she said. We are proud of our long-standing partnership with Egypt. This country is a cornerstone of our operations, and we are excited to continue working together to unlock its full economic potential.
Yes.
How do you see this as a message, not only here to her bank, to the World Bank, to the IMF, to Fitch and Moody, to S&P, I mean, you name it. Do you think that such visits and such statements after such a visit will really send a message to all, and of course more, international economic institutions to feel or to know that there is full confidence in the Egyptian economy, its resilience, and its potentials, which can be discovered a day after the other, and I mean it, a day, not a year after the other, and to make sure that the future is for our best interest?
Of course. With the world, different changes, different economical turbulence, and different, like at old days, we used to say a long-term objective or a long-term plan could be 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot put a long-term objective more than 3 years. So more than that, we call it a vision.
Yeah.
So with all these changes around us very quickly, our country is on the right track. And not only the visit of the president of the EBRD, but also the visit of His Excellency the Prime Minister to Port Said today, and also the visits of His Excellency, our beloved President, to the world.
Last but not least in Russia, and I remember well, it was yesterday when he had this summit talks with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, and both hailed the economic cooperation between Egypt and Russia, saying that 33%, this is the increase in the exchange of trade exchange between both countries, and expected with 8% I think also increase. And there is a joint committee which is going to have its meetings in the Russian capital in a couple of days. So,
I mean, this is all a full plan to give the message that our country is the gateway to many other places in the world. Also, we have very good human development to our people. You see that a lot of vocational schools, a lot of on-the-ground training, all the ministers, all the ministries, they have a lot of programs for human development. So it's not only
here,
legal.
Dr. Nevine,
Yeah.
I think I should mention, if you permit me, CSR,
Of course,
corporate social responsibility.
of course.
Don't you think that we need more engagement from the big companies in what you're saying?
They are engaged. If you go into the ecosystem, they are all engaged, and they are all doing a lot of human development.
To the extent that we need, this is my question, or we need more?
No, I think each company, they are trying to do their best in human development, and now even the CSR of different companies, they are specialized. So if you want to tackle a company that their corporate social responsibility is talking about education, you know that 1, 2, 3, their plan for the coming 5 years or 3 years is in education. If you want to tackle another organization, corporate social responsibility for health, you know that 1, 2, 3 by names, their plan is this. One of the companies, for example, just did something in Monofia governorate for teaching women how to do shoes and school shoes and school bags.
Okay.
And the
Wow,
scaling
this is
up of this, you can never believe. Now they are selling in downtown, and they are selling, and the ILO came in, and a lot of other organizations to teach them a full from how to start your business. Also, the Ministry of Social Solidarity, they have a very good program for that.
Dr. Maya is doing such a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the Ministry of, I'm very proud also with from the Ministry of Communication and Technology.
Dr. Amr Talal.
Of course, they have a great program and great Upper Egypt technological training,
Yeah, and
fiber optic.
the inclusion of AI. Now,
inclusion of
AI, this is the future.
Of course.
Whether we agree or no, but this is the future.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
saying that it's a full ecosystem supporting each target segment with the need, with very well gap analysis and the need analysis and need assessment. So doing that in the same time is amazing. I mean.
And you mentioned also something which is very important among lines. With all changes and challenges around us,
Of course.
And I mean here internationally, globally. I mean, of course, in the Middle East. The Middle East is a region in itself with all its issues, and let me call it issues. But when it comes to the whole world now, Donald Trump is easing his tone a little bit with his tariffs and what was going on and what is still going on between him, or between his administration and China, and between his administration and the neighboring countries, Canada and of course Europe. But Dr. Nevine, don't you think that what he is doing can be a chance for us?
Of course. This is what I was going to go to. We have the technical expertise, we have the land, we have the golden license and all the support of the one-stop shop place for licensing, for building, construction license, tax license, everything in one-stop shop. So we have it all. We have the ports ready, economical zones are ready, human development, we have young population, very educated, very trained, very professional. So I mean, we have it all. Even with the money exchange rate, and that the money exchange rate towards the dollar is a little bit higher, it's even good for us because investors will find investing in Egypt is not expensive.
Yep.
And we are the gate with the trade agreements to many countries. I mean, we have it all.
We have it all, and the north of the Mediterranean learned the lesson that they cannot do without the southern side of the Mediterranean. And with our strategic partnership with the EU, and with our historic ties with our strategic depth, which is Africa, and making sure that we are really leading such very successful foreign relations with everybody. I mean, with
Exactly.
that, with
very
this balance.
stable. Yeah.
Balance. I mean, we are in good relations with all because simply we want to achieve peace, stability, and that's it.
And we care about our people and our economical growth.
And the word "our" for you, Dr. Nevine, when it comes to Africa, they are ours.
Of course.
And here, I'm going to mention this for the 1000th time, and I'm going to continue mentioning that. Julius Nyereri's dam in Tanzania is going to remain as one of the wonderful examples how Egypt is working for the best interest of all, because this is our goal, development, and that's it.
Yeah.
Dr. Nevine, I really enjoyed my time.
Thank you.
And inshallah, I'm going to leave you with a promise to see you again in more episodes.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored.
Well, we were very much honored and delighted to have with us live here in the studio and Dr. Nevine Nakhla, Professor of Strategic Management. Thank you very much once again, ma'am. And now I'm going to leave you with the most important events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting to review the proposed measures to facilitate the registration and entry of international brands into the Egyptian market. He emphasized the activation of a specialized system to refund tax burdens to tourists at major airports, promote the state's efforts to facilitate customs, clearance procedures, and establish a unified electronic platform to obtain all necessary approvals for registration and determine requirements. Norwegian company Scatec has begun construction of the Obelisk solar project with a capacity of 1.1 gigawatts and 200 megawatt hours of battery energy storage in Naga Hammadi at a cost of $590 million. The first phase will provide 561 megawatts of solar power and 200 megawatt hours of battery storage in the first half of 2026, while the second phase will add an additional 564 megawatts of solar power in the second half of 2026. Egypt's foreign exchange reserves rose to $48.14 billion by the end of last April, compared to $47.75 billion in March, an increase of approximately $386 million. According to central bank data, this increase was driven by $1 billion increase in Egypt's gold reserves, reaching approximately $13.6 billion by the end of April, compared to $12.6 billion at the end of March. Major General Mukhtar Abdel Latif, chairman of the Arab Organization for Industrialization, and Dr. Yasmin Fouad, Minister of Environment, witnessed the signing of contracts and agreements related to environmental protection and conservation projects. The project's establishment contract was signed between an Egyptian factory and an Asian company. The project involves a production line for recycling used tires with an annual production capacity of 50,000 tons in the first phase, through manufacturing and creating added value by producing products of economic value. The managing director and CEO of Abu Dhabi Ports Group stated that the group signed an agreement with the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone to establish a logistics and industrial zone east of Port Said, with a renewable right for 50 years. The Cabinet's media center explained that the first phase of the project is scheduled to begin on an area of 2.8 square kilometers at an expected cost of between $1 and $2 billion. This investment will be used to support the infrastructure of this phase, with construction work set to begin by the end of 2025. The French embassy in Cairo stated in a press release that France will organize a major economic forum in Cairo under the patronage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and French President Emmanuel Macron. The forum follows President Macron's visit to Egypt last month, which affirmed the strong commitment to cooperation between Paris and Cairo, embodied in key agreements including $600 million contract to operate the third line of the Cairo Metro. Businessman Hisham Talat Mustafa emphasized that it is the highest yielding asset and investment. He emphasized that real estate investment has been the most profitable type of investment over the past 40 years in Egypt, with the annual rate of increase in real estate prices reaching 26% annually, the highest investment rate compared to other assets such as the dollar and gold. As part of his tour of several industrial facilities in the 10th of Ramadan city, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli inspected the Vivo Communications Technology Factory, which specializes in manufacturing smart homes. Madbouli emphasized that this visit comes within the framework of the state's drive to expand its efforts to attract major global manufacturing companies to Egypt, strengthen the electronics industry there, and achieve self-sufficiency in this vital sector. He pointed out that the electronics industry is one of the strategic sectors that contribute significantly to achieving economic development, providing job opportunities, and increasing digital exports.